The next generation of console gaming is upon us. The Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 is set for a holiday 2020 release date, with exciting features, amazing services, powerful hardware and a bunch of exclusive games. Making a decision on which console to buy can be a tough one, so I think it's time for us to compare these consoles head to head. Welcome everybody and thank you for joining me. Today we are going to hit the hornet's nest. Whenever I see one of these head to head videos comparing the two consoles, the conversation can get a bit heated. So before I get started, let me just explain the purpose of this video and what I hope to accomplish by the end of it. I will be comparing the best of what the Xbox and the PlayStation has to offer. I will focus on hardware features like backwards compatibility, speed, services like Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Now, and since these are gaming consoles, exclusive games. I think it is important that we lay out the differences. I've made this point many times over, but I am going to reiterate because I do truly believe it. If you are a fan of one console, it is within your best interest that the other console does well. Competition is good. It ensures the lowest prices and best features. I've said this many times over, but I'm going to say it again because I don't even want to think where we would be with a console reveal if we did not have the other to compete. The PlayStation 5 without competition from Microsoft will just be an empty PC case filled with newspapers and an old PlayStation 2 selling for $3,000, and the same holds true for Microsoft. Now I will try my best not to give any personal opinions. I'm not here to convince you over which console you should buy. If you are hoping that by the end of this video I will draw a conclusion over which console is the best, you will be disappointed, because this video is designed for you to make a more informed choice, not for me to make that choice for you. I will however point out where I see one console clearly have an advantage over the other. However, that will be based on the information available and not my personal opinion. The goal is to lay out all of the facts, and hopefully by the end of this video, based on the information I have provided, you can make a more informed decision about which console you should buy. During the launch of the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, I had a really hard time deciding, and videos like this help me a lot with my decision, and I hope that this video will serve that same purpose for you. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please consider liking and subscribing. I really would appreciate the support, so let's get into it. We will be starting with the most obvious of them all, and that will be hardware. That of course is the heart and the soul of these machines and will determine the type of gaming experience you will have. So for the Xbox Series X, the CPU is an 8-core Zen 2 based at 3.8 GHz compared to the PlayStation 5 that will have an AMD Zen 2 based CPU with 8 cores at 3.5 GHz. The GPU on the Xbox Series X will be 12 teraflops, 52 CUs at 1.82 GHz with a custom RDNA 2 architecture, as opposed to the PlayStation 5 that will have a GPU with 10.28 teraflops, 56 CUs at 2.23 GHz. For memory, the Xbox Series X will have 16 GB of GDDR6 RAM. The PlayStation 5 will have the same. You will get 1 TB of custom NVMe SSD for storage. On the Xbox Series X, the PlayStation 5 will have a custom 825 GB SSD. More on the speed of these consoles later. For the optical drive, both consoles will have a 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray optical drive. The PlayStation of course will also have a discless version as well. So what do you need to take away from all of this for now? Well, it is very simple. For the Xbox Series X, it means full 4K graphics at an output of 60 frames per second, and in some cases even 120 frames. There is also the potential for 8K resolutions. For the PlayStation 5, it pretty much means the same, full 4K graphical output at 60 frames. Based on those specs, it is clear that the Xbox Series X will be the more powerful consoles. Now, since we have looked at the power aspect, let's look at the speed. A lot has been made about how fast these next generation consoles will be. The GPUs and the CPUs in the Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 will be much faster than their current counterparts, and that is because consoles has never been built to take advantage of any SSD, let alone a super fast SSD designed for the new consoles. The PlayStation 5 will have an 825 GB NVMe drive delivering 5.5 GB per second. The Xbox Series X will have a 1 TB NVMe drive delivering 2.14 GB per second. Functional speed is determined by the slowest component in the system. A faster SSD will not be worth much if there is a bottleneck, and a bottleneck can can come in the form of a slow up or a downstream process. To eliminate the choke points, Sony created a custom decompressor, a controller that directs the data flow from the SSD and separate processes to take care of the I/O in memory mapping. Now Microsoft is touting quick resume, which lets players return to the exact point where they left off when switching between one game to the other. It takes about 6.5 seconds to switch from one game to the other. The SSD plays an important part in next generation gaming, and it is clear that both these consoles will be super fast, but based on the information in front of us, the PlayStation 5 will be the faster console. Next generation will be a classic case between power and speed. Now I'm not going to comment too much on the design of these consoles because that is subjective and it does nothing for your actual gaming experience. I hope that your choice will not come down to design but rather to performance. The Xbox is a box, that is what they are, that is what they always will be. They have kind of put themselves in a box with the name Xbox. PlayStation has gone for something a bit more futuristic looking. They have a bit more of a freer range in terms of design, and it does show in this console. It is unique looking, but it will also be their largest console yet. For the Xbox Series X controller, Microsoft has kept the overall design, but they did make it a little bit smaller, and they also made changes to the D-pad. The new D-pad takes cues from the Elite controller with a cross-segmented style format that will boost the directional movement as well as the menu selection. Microsoft is also putting texture grips on the triggers for the new controller. The most significant update pertains to the share button. The new share button will allow you to more easily share clips and screenshots across social networks without Xbox guide menu function. With this controller, you will also have the option of a battery pack. The wireless controller will use AA batteries, but you can always just get a rechargeable battery pack. It is clear that Microsoft has gone with the concept of if it is not broken, don't fix it. I don't think there are too many that can deny Microsoft did hit it out of the park with the Xbox 360 and one controller. For the PlayStation 5, that is where we see the most significant change. The renamed DualSense controller marks a radical departure from the previous DualShock. The controller will have haptic feedback, adaptive triggers that will be similar to those on the Xbox One controller. The touchpad will return, and they will also replace the share button with the create button. That button can be used to create and share gameplay. They will also have a built-in microphone which will enable players to easily chat with friends without a headset. Now both consoles will make use of the next generation features like ray tracing and developing power of the Unreal 5 engine. The biggest feature everybody has been talking about is backwards compatibility. That is a big focus point for Sony and Microsoft. For PlayStation 5, Sony revealed that nearly all of the top 100 PlayStation 4 games will be playable on the PlayStation 5 at launch. Now the rest of the PlayStation 4 library might not be available immediately, but Sony is working on making everything available. The list of backwards compatible games for the PlayStation 5 will steadily grow after the console's release. Sony did confirm that your PlayStation 4 disc will work on the PlayStation 5, provided of course that those games are backwards compatible. For Xbox, backwards compatibility is something that they have been working on for quite some time now. They already have a pretty big number of Xbox 360 and original Xbox games available on the Xbox One, and they intend on going much deeper with the Xbox Series X. Microsoft has made it clear that they will have thousands of previous generation games available on the Xbox Series X, and they have put in hundreds and thousands of hours pre-testing everything. Previous generation games will also run much better on the Xbox Series X. No boost mode needed, no downclocking. The full power of the Xbox Series X will be used for each backwards compatible game. That means much higher frame rates. Games will go from 30 to 60 to even 120 frames in some cases, and it is clear that at launch Microsoft will have a huge advantage over Sony PlayStation 5, but as the next generation cycle moves forward, Sony does have an opportunity to catch up. So let's move on to services. Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Now. both subscription-based services, you pay a flat monthly fee, and that gives you access to a gaming library with hundreds of games. These games you will have access to as long as you pay for your subscription. PlayStation Now gives you access to over 500 games, as well as the choice to download them on PC or PlayStation 4 hard drive. Sony also owns a cloud gaming company they bought in 2012 that allows PlayStation Now members to play titles on a remote server. To do that, you will need an internet speed of at least 5 megabytes per second, but 10 will be better. PlayStation Now is also available on the PC, so it does give you the opportunity to play some of your PlayStation 4 games with a keyboard and a mouse. For Xbox, Game Pass gives members the capacity to download games to their PC or Xbox. It takes time to download those games, but Microsoft has a very fast start functionality that uses machine learning to download the essential parts of a game first. Xbox Game Pass is also moving to become a streaming service. They are not quite there yet, but they are in the process with Project xCloud. There is no limit to the amount of games that you can download on Xbox Game Pass, and you will have access to all of those games for up to 30 days. Xbox Game Pass also gives you access to some Xbox 360 and original Xbox games. Both Xbox Game Pass and PlayStation Now cost $9.99 a month on the console. If you buy 12 months of PlayStation Now, it will cost you around $5 per month. For Xbox, they also have an ultimate version that will include Xbox Live Gold and Xbox Game Pass for PC. That will cost $14.99. Keep in mind that the PC version is different from the console version. When it comes to actual games, Xbox Game Pass has some serious AAA games. A lot of these games you will get at launch day one. Almost all Xbox first-party exclusives get launched on day one for Xbox Game Pass. That includes games like Halo, Forza and Gears. Xbox has around 200 games available, and they do focus on quality over quantity. That is why they have over 10 million subscribers. PlayStation Now gives you access to over 650 games, and that include big games like Last of Us and Horizon Zero Dawn. However, those type of games do not appear on day one. They also include PlayStation 2 and PlayStation 3 games. Now, Xbox Series X will have one big money saving service that will give them the advantage over PlayStation 5 on that front, and that is Xbox Smart Delivery. Xbox Smart Delivery allows you to buy a game on the Xbox One, and then when you decide to upgrade your console, you will get access to the Xbox Series X version at no extra cost. Remember that time when you had to buy GTA 5 on the Xbox 360 for $60 and then you bought it again for the Xbox One for another $60? Well, none of that with Smart Delivery. Keep in mind that only applies for developers who choose to support the service. We already know that big developers like CD Projekt Red will support that service, as well as Xbox Game Studio. As of right now, Sony does not have a similar service for their games. And speaking of games, that brings me to my last point: games, more specifically exclusive games. At the end of the day, consoles are only as good as the games we play on them, so let's take a look at the best of what these consoles has to offer. Now, Microsoft has Xbox Game Studios that comprise of 13 game studios, all of which makes exclusive content for Microsoft. They have a bunch of big names here: Obsidian Entertainment, Halo House 343 Industries, Gears of War Studios, The Coalition, Hellblade creator Ninja Theory, and Wasteland 2 company In Exile Entertainment. Over the years, Microsoft has released a bunch of exclusive titles, some big and some not so big, all the way from Halo to Forza to Sunset Overdrive, Fable and more. Microsoft has at one point stated that they will not focus on exclusive games, even going as far as stating that there will be no exclusive games for the Xbox Series X at launch. Now, that of course is just for first party games published under Xbox Game Studios and not for all games on the Xbox platform. Microsoft is working on first party games. They have big ones in the works, and all of that will be revealed at the July showcase. Sony, on the other hand, has 15 game studios, all falling under the banner of Worldwide Studios. This is a global development hub, a diverse network of highly successful and passionate game development studios. They publish a wide range of titles every year, created in their in-house studios, as well as a collaborative effort with independent studios from a wider industry. Sony has over the years published many big titles like Last of Us, God of War, Uncharted, Horizon Zero Dawn, Driver Club, Tearaway, Bloodborne, Gran Turismo and more. Sony has a great track record with exclusive games, and it is clear that exclusive games will be a big focus point for them. But on that note, this is where I'm going to end it. I hope that I've done a good job comparing these two consoles, and that with the information available your choice will be made a bit easier. I hope that you enjoyed the video and at least found it informative. If you have, please consider liking and subscribing. As always, please remember to stay safe, wash your hands, don't touch your face, and I hope to see you again soon.